What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mets Central, and today we are going to be talking about the possibility of the Mets acquiring Juan Soto, which we have talked about before in podcast episodes and things like that, the possibility of the Mets getting him, but there's just been so much going on with the baseball world since I really have been making videos, and it's just annoying that the Mets season has just been so unbearable that I haven't really even taken the time to go out of my way and really cover the team extensively. But this is huge news because the Mets have a chance to get Juan Soto. So we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about how it would make sense and why the Padres would even move Soto and everything like that. Before we do, don't forget to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. But let's talk about it. So why does it make sense for the Padres? I want to find the exact report, but there was a report that the Padres are reportedly looking to shed money off their payroll. So yeah, it says Padres plan to reduce payroll to around 200 million. Front office changes are possible. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Blake Snell's not going to be a Padre next year. Juan Soto's probably going to get moved. And for all we know, Fernando Tatis Jr. might get moved. So there is a really strong possibility that the Mets could go out and make a splash here and get Juan Soto. Juan Soto is definitely more realistic than Tatis, outside of the fact that Tatis, his primary position is obviously shortstop, and I feel like if a team trades for him, he'll be back to playing shortstop. So that's number one. Number two, I wouldn't feel comfortable with him in right field regardless. Don't get me wrong, his bat alone would make it worth it, but you wouldn't feel that comfortable with him in right field. And number three, that return's probably going to be very, very heavy because he's already locked up long-term, where with Juan Soto, a team is taking a gamble. Can they acquire him and lock him up long-term? That's the question. And my answer to that would be yes, for the Mets being able to do it. And Jeff Passan sure thinks so too. So Jeff Passan had this to say on the Baseball is Dead podcast. He said the Mets are a scary possibility for Juan Soto, and I think the Mets are probably in a better position to offer prospects to go out and get him. I think the ownership has showed the aptitude and desire to sign guys like him long term. So yeah, we know they failed, swung and missed on Carlos Correa. Well, sorta. I mean, they signed Correa, but his physical ended up failing, so they didn't end up getting Carlos Correa. So they have the willingness to obviously sign a guy like Juan Soto in terms of money because they didn't sign Correa, so they'd have room for Soto. The question's going to come down to, what do the Mets have to give up? That's going to be a significant task, because if you revisit and want to revisit the Juan Soto Josh Bell trade, granted Josh Bell was included, but still, we can't ignore how hefty of a haul that was. So the Padres got Soto and Bell, and the Nationals in return got C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, Luke Voigt, Robert Hassel III, who was ranked number 1 in the Padres system, number 21 overall in baseball, James Wood, number 3 prospect for the Padres, 88th overall, and they got the number 14 prospect from the Padres. So he, of course, was not ranked anywhere significantly in the top 100 there in baseball. So it's going to be a haul. It's going to be a haul because that is 3 roster players and 3 prospects that they gave up. So what is a comparable? Well, number one, let's get this out of the way. The return's going to be less than this because the Padres, 1, are really looking to shed payroll, so they're going to move him. 2, they're going to want anything they could get for him because of the fact that they want to give him up, and the fact that he's probably not even going to re-sign there because, 1, the Padres, like I keep saying, are shedding payroll, and 2, I don't know if he has a willingness to stay with the Padres. So it is realistic, a possibility where his value is decreased a bit. Plus, when the Nationals traded him away to the Padres, he was just having a scorching hot year in Washington. He was really actually no, he wasn't actually performing the greatest. That was a slightly down year, which, by the way, in a slightly down year, I was looking at his year before by accident, where he had a ridiculous year. But in 2022, in a down year for Juan Soto with the Nationals before he got traded, was hitting 246, had a 408 on base percentage, a 485 slugging, a 894 OPS with 21 home runs on the year, and still had 91 walks, striking out 62 times. So yeah, safe to say he's an okay baseball player. You know, he's a good guy to have around potentially. Just a little bit of an addition to the lineup, nothing too significant, right? In all seriousness, he's been having down years now for the past 2 years. Granted, he started off slow this year, and if it wasn't for that, he would be having a monster year, and he still is regardless, because in a down year for Soto, yet again, leads the league in walks, has 35 home runs, hitting 275, 409 on base, 520 slugging for a 929 in OPS. But his defense sucks. Who cares? He's going to be playing left field. In terms of a trade comparable, this is where it gets interesting, because I really have no idea how you could even construct a comparable type deal here. So, like, say, because obviously Josh Bell is out of the question here, you'd have to figure Josh Bell alone was worth probably one of the 3 roster players and that number 14 prospect. And even then, I mean, I don't know, like, that's tough. Like, do the Mets give up a guy like Jeff McNeil on the roster? Is that a possibility? I don't want that to happen, but it could be a possibility, because I'm sure that they would love the versatility he brings, and he's on a very, very team-friendly contract. So, and there needs to probably be a roster player going the other way, and I'm sorry, I don't think Mark Vientos is really going to move the needle for them. So, your roster player is probably that. You'd probably have to give up maybe like a roster pitcher. I think they could get away with giving up a lower end roster pitcher, though. Like, I think the Padres would take a flyer on a guy like Peterson, McGill, guys like that, Jose Budo, maybe one of those guys. And then the prospect wise is where the Padres are really going to probably get a lot in return. And this is where it sucks, because I want the Mets to I want them to hold on to these prospects and see this through, considering they just got a good amount of these. But I think Kevin Parada is probably one of the most realistic prospects to go in the deal. I think Dominic Hamill is probably realistic. And then maybe, because the Mets have a lot of infield prospects, maybe they give up a guy like Colin Houck, who they just drafted, or maybe they give up a guy like, I don't know, maybe they do give up Mauricio since he's MLB ready, and they just move him. Which, in all honesty, if we're looking at the Mets trading a package, like, say it's Mauricio, Parada, Hamill, McGill, and then McNeil, I would personally, I for one would not care that much. I for one would not care. I would not like to lose Jeff McNeil, because I think that he had a slow start to the year. He started to rebound as the year went along, and he started to actually put it together. I mean, he's been hot in his last 30 games. He's been hitting the ball a lot better, getting back to his normal ways, hitting 277, 317 on base percentage, which is a little down for him. But, I mean, still 359 in his last 15 games. So he has been a lot better as of recently. And it would suck to lose it, but at the same time, you're getting Juan Soto. You're getting Juan Soto, and to tell you the truth, does hurting Jeff McNeil, or does losing Jeff McNeil hurt that significantly that you would say no to getting Juan Soto in that scenario? Like, again, I love Jeff McNeil. I really do. But he's strictly a contact guy with the bat, and he's a man without a position. Because I doubt he's hitting 23 home runs again like he did in that 2019 season. I highly doubt it. I'd love it if he did, and that would be great with the Mets if he did. I just don't see it. And you're essentially looking at it as, okay, Jeff McNeil's out, your new left-handed bat's Juan Soto, and then you gave up Ronnie Mauricio, who, again, I have high hopes for with the bat, but he's a man without a position. Kevin Parada, likely a man without a position regardless, because of the fact that Francisco Alvarez is who he is. A pitcher like Dominic Hamill, that's fine. He's lower on the chart anyway. And even if they want to hire a guy like, I like Christian Scott. I like Mike Vassell, but it is what it is. You got to give the get, and I'm sure that they would be fine moving one of those pitchers because I don't foresee any of them being aces anyway. Like at most, I see them being like a number 3 starter, which don't get me wrong would help the Mets who are starving for pitching, but wouldn't be the end all be all. And then obviously losing a guy like McGill or Peterson if they give up one of those guys, you really don't care. So that's just like sort of a mock trade that I just kind of like thought of off the top of my head here. It might be more, it might be less. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think a return would look like in the comment section down below. And yeah, I mean, I can't imagine this being, because fans always overprice players. Like, let's be real. Granted, let's not get it twisted. That return on paper is huge there for the Washington Nationals. But the prospects have not, I mean, Mackenzie Gore's been solid. Abrams has not really panned out until like now. Hassel should be solid, but I haven't really heard much of him. And then Wood, I've not really heard much of him either. So I'm not sure what's happening with those two. But regardless, I mean, if that's the type of return that we're looking at, and even then, say the Mets have to give up, I would absolutely hate it. But let's say they have to give up Colin Houck, or they have to give up, like, I really don't want Jet Williams gone, but like, say they had to give up Jet Williams. Does it hurt that much considering you're getting Juan Soto either way to take that outfield spot, because Jet Williams is not going to play shortstop. Plus, you still have Acuna in the system then at that point. Like, the farm system is so deep now. Like, this is what the Mets needed to do. This is why I screamed for however long that the Mets need to build the prospect pool so they had an opportunity to do something like this when it presents itself. Because this is a Dodgers type thing, and let's hope that the Mets could do it. Let's hope. I'll have another video coming out soon about another big name that the Mets are in the market for. This guy's a free agent. I think you guys know who, but we'll talk about that in another video. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comment section down below on this one. Give me your thoughts of a mock trade, what it could look like. I want to know all that in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially for Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.